In bed at night, knowing there is a towering wall of ocean water pressing against the glass just inches away. One crack, and your entire neighborhood drowns before morning. It sounds terrifying, but millions of people in the Netherlands sleep next to that exact threat every single night, completely unbothered. Look at this cross-section of the country. Roughly 1/3 of the entire landmass sits beneath the ocean's surface. And right inside that sunken bowl is where 60% of the population lives, works, and builds their cities. They didn't start out at the bottom of the sea. Thousands of years ago, locals began draining massive, shallow swamps and digging up peat to farm the land. But removing that groundwater and dense peat caused the soil to physically compress. The ground slowly sank under their feet, exactly as global ocean levels were creeping higher. By trying to create more space to farm, they dug their own geographical trap. Now, they are stuck in a permanent tug-of-war, forced to actively hold back the sea every single second just to survive. The first line of defense is brute force. The country is surrounded by dikes, massive walls of earth and stone that stretch for hundreds of kilometers, to physically block the ocean from spilling in. But keeping the ocean out creates an immediate problem inside. When a country is shaped like a giant bowl, heavy rain has nowhere to go. Gravity cannot pull water up and out over those walls. Hundreds of years ago, Dutch engineers solved this by building thousands of windmills. They harnessed the wind to scoop the trapped rainwater up and literally lift it over the dikes into the sea. Today, those wooden sails have been replaced by a sprawling network of computer-guided electric pumps and deep canals. The Netherlands operates as a giant mechanized water management engine. Millions of liters are continuously pushed out of the country every hour, bailing out the land while the citizens sleep. That system held up for generations until a massive North Sea storm struck in the winter of 1953. The surging ocean violently overpowered the old dikes, shattering the defenses overnight. The freezing water rushed in and swallowed entire farming villages. By the time the sea receded, over 10,800 lives were lost. The limits of traditional defenses had been reached. No matter how much they pumped or how high they built, a standard wall couldn't stop the ocean at its worst. To survive, the scale of protection had to change. The answer was the Delta Works, a sprawling network of concrete marine barriers and steel sluices built directly across the river deltas. It is completely flexible. On a calm day, the massive sea gates remain wide open. Marine ecosystems thrive, and heavy shipping vessels pass through the gaps without disruption. But the moment sensors detect a severe storm surge, the system activates. Giant steel arms swing shut across the waterways, locking together to form a physical wall in a matter of minutes. It is the peak of the brute force era of engineering, a literal mechanical door capable of shutting out the entire ocean on command. Yet the ocean is a relentless opponent. With climate change steadily driving global sea levels higher, the baseline pressure on all of this infrastructure is compounding every year. Check out this diagram of a rigid retaining wall. As water volume increases, the lateral pressure against the concrete grows exponentially. Eventually, that stress maxes out, and no matter how tall or thick the wall is, it will fracture. You cannot outbuild an ocean forever. Engineers began moving away from the strategy of total resistance. Instead of trying to hold the ocean back at any cost, they started designing spaces meant to invite the water in. Whole neighborhoods are now being constructed as floating houses. Anchored to flexible moorings, these homes naturally rise and fall along with shifting floodwaters, keeping the living rooms perfectly dry. They are also redesigning their public spaces. City parks and recreational squares are specifically hollowed out. On sunny days, people play basketball there. But during heavy rain, those same squares safely fill up, functioning as temporary storage reservoirs to keep water away from houses. Even city streets are being graded and engineered so that when a severe flood hits, the roads deliberately transform into flowing canals, moving the excess water harmlessly out of the urban center. Where the rest of the world sees water as an invader to be blocked, the Netherlands has learned to give it room. Surviving the climate reality of the next century means abandoning the illusion we can overpower nature and using adaptive design to live directly alongside it.